All right, today we're going to talk about logarithms. So logs and exponents are sort of like synonyms. They're kind of opposites each other. Sort of their relationship is sort of like addition and subtraction, multiplication and division, but not exactly, because what you do with exponents, you can kind of do the same thing with logs and vice versa. So here's an exponential equation. 2 to the third equals 8. That's what we call exponential form. The exponent when 8 is written in the base 2 is 3. And now it sounds really weird to say it that way, but if you think about it, it makes it true. The exponent is 3 when 8 is written with a base of 2. So if you kind of reword it, it makes a little bit more sense. So the log of 8 base 2 equals 3. That's another way to say it. Or the way to write it is the log base 2, and you see that's like a little subscript, of 8 is 3. And if you see, if you kind of take this piece by piece, if you start with the 2, that's this base here. You pick up the 3, that's the exponent, and it's going to equal 8. So it's just really another way to write an exponential equation. And you'll see why in a little bit, why that's important. So 2 to the third equals 8, and the log 2 of 8 equals 3 really contain the same information. Again, remember, it's 2 to the third equals 8. That's exponential form. That's called log form. So this is the general form. Some base raised to some exponent equals p, some number. And going the other way is log base b, so the same base there, of p, so of the answer, equals the exponent. So when you have log form, it's always the exponent that it's going to equal. And the reason you do that is eventually this exponent is going to be a variable, so the only way you could solve for it is to put it in log form. So let's write each of the following in log form. So 5 to the third equals 125. So we're going to start by writing the word log. Then we're going to put the base, which is 5. Then we're going to put the p, which is 125, and we're going to set it equal to 3. So log base 5 of 125 equals 3. 8 to the 2/3 equals 4. Log base 8 of 4 equals 2/3. Again, you're going to start with the base, then you pick up the exponent, and you end up with the p. Log base 4 of 116 equals -2. Let's now go the other way, and let's write each in exponential form. So there's your log form. We're going to write it in exponential form. So remember, the base here is going to be the 4. The exponent is what your answer is, and the p is this number here. Again, you always start here, you pick up your exponent, and you end up with the p. So it'll be 4 raised to the 2/3 equals 8. And that makes sense, because remember, this bottom number tells you to take the root. So the square root of 4 would be 2. Then you raise it to the third power, which is 8. Log 2/16 equals 4. 2 to the 4th equals 16. Log 2 of 1/4 equals -2. 2 to the -2 equals 1/4. So go ahead and put the video on pause and see if you can evaluate these logs. You should be able to do these in your head. You should not use your calculator. All right, so basically when you're doing this, you're saying 3 raised to what power is going to give me 81. That's how you should think of this, and the answer would be 4. 49 raised to what power is going to give you 7? That would have to be 1/2, because you have to square root it. 2 to the 6th power gives me 64. This one's a little tricky. 25 to the 3/2 power gives me 125. Because first I have to get this to be a 5, so I have to square root it, which is what gives me the 2 on the bottom. Then I have to raise it to the 3rd power. Another way to do these is to kind of write it as in its base form. So you can kind of write this as log 5 squared, and then write 125 as 5 to the 3rd. I'm not writing it very well, but I think you get the idea. And then your answer will always be this divided by this, so 3 over 2. 2 to the negative 3rd is 1/8, and 1/2 to the negative 3 is 8. The square root of 6 squared will give me 6. 2 to the negative 2 gives me 1/4. 1/2 to the 3rd will give me 1/8. 15 to the 1st power will give me 15. 7 to the 0 power will give me 1. And 10 to the 0 power will also give me 1. The square root of 5 squared gives me 5. The square root of 5 to the 3rd power will give me 5 square root of 5. The square root of 5 to the 4th power will give me 25. Log 10 of 0.1234 will give me 4. I'm negative 4, sorry, because I'm taking my exponent and I'm moving it to the left 4. So think of this one here as the log of 2.7 raised to the 4. So basically you're saying 2.7 raised to what power will give me 2.7 to the 4th power. So the answer obviously has to be 4. And there's no power that will give me a negative number here. It's saying 2 raised to what power will give me negative 4. Well, there's no power that will make this negative, so your answer would have to be no solution. And now we can also evaluate these with a calculator. So the calculator is programmed to find base 10 logs because our number system is base 10. So if you take a look at your calculator, the button on your calculator that just says logs is base 10. Base 10 is also called the common log, so it's important that you know that. It is used so often that the base is dropped. So basically, if I have log base 10 of 100, for instance, it would simply be written as the log of 100. That 10 is assumed. So when you see log of 100, it's important that you know the base is really 10. So here also, let me erase this. So here also you can see log 10 of 15 will be written as just simply log 15. And you can go to your calculator and you can just hit that log button on your calculator and type 15 and you should get 1.176. We usually round logs to 3 decimal places. And then we can also have logs with a base E. The calculator is also programmed to find logs in base E, and if you remember when we talked about E, we talked about it as the natural base, so therefore we call logs in base E natural logs. So log base E of 5.3 will be written as ln, the natural log of 5.3. So you won't see it written this way, you will only see it written like this here. Oops, sorry. Well, you'll only see, I can't get the pen. Oh, here we go. You'll only see it written like this, but it's important that you realize that these here are the same exact thing. So again, you've got a natural log button on your calculator. So the natural log of 5.3 is 1.668. Make sure you get that when you use your calculator. And again, we usually round to 3 decimal places.